Jake Paul is gonna destroy Andre August. I mean, just look at this footage of Andre August hitting the bag. I mean, Jake Paul should have just fought Muhammad Ali's grandson or a rematch with Nate Diaz. I mean, Jake Paul is not even taking this fight seriously, as he said on this podcast that he's wearing the same attire, and not only that, but he said that he's just doing this fight just to get experience.
This is literally just so I can get experience. Like, I'm wearing the same outfit as my last fight. Like, I'm just showing up and knocking this guy the fuck out.
And I don't even think Jake Paul is taking boxing seriously, because he is headlining for a PFL fight in 2024. Not only that, but Jake Paul also exposed in the press conference that he dropped Andre August's trainer 2 years ago in a sparring match.
Did your coach tell you that I dropped him in sparring too? Or did he not tell you that? So the guy that's teaching you got worked by me 2 years ago.
But again, this doesn't really mean anything when it comes to who's actually going to win this fight. Their latest performances shows it all. So let's talk about Jake Paul's latest performances, in which he fought Tommy Fury, in which he landed some very good jabs, even dropping Tommy Fury in round 8.
I thought we had some really good rounds.
But again, Jake Paul's defense needs some work, because Tommy Fury was just landing some nasty hooks on him, and that's what lost him the fight.
To the winner by split decision, Tommy TNT.
Now he then went on to fight Nate Diaz, in which Jake Paul started off very fast, putting a lot of pressure in round 1, and then after that, Nate Diaz got bored and tired of the fight that he started taunting Jake Paul.
We all love Nate. We all love the gamesmanship, but he's got a real shot here to come out on top, and he's waving Jake on. He said, "Bring it to me."
But then it didn't work on his favor, because then Jake Paul dropped him in round 5. And ended up winning the fight by decision.
The problem child, Jake.
Now let's talk about Andre August's latest performances, and in which I'm gonna call him a bum, because his latest performance was back in 2019, in which he fought Santiago Martin, in which he won by decision. And then after this, I think he was in retirement, because his latest performance was 4 years later in 2023, this year, in which again he fought Brandon Martin, in which he won by decision.
Now I think it's pretty obvious on what's going to happen in this fight, only because there's zero hype to this fight, and that is because most people don't even recognize who Andre August is. And the next point is because we don't care that Andre August has a better resume than Jake Paul when it comes stats wise, wins, losses, and knockouts, only because we know that Jake Paul outperforms him when talking about the opponents they fought, which brings me to my next point. If Andre August, in my opinion, can't even beat any of Jake Paul's recent opponents, what makes him think that he has a chance against Jake Paul himself? Now, another point to bring up about Jake's opponents, yes, Jake Paul has had some very easy opponents, but he's also had some opponents that most would have thought he would have had a tough time getting through, or maybe he would have even lost those fights, and those are fighters like Tyron Woodley and Tommy Fury, in which with that in mind, Jake Paul has still been able to drop every single one of his opponents, which when you think about it is really impressive, after I just name a couple like Tyron Woodley and Tommy Fury that even maybe some professional boxers would have had a tough time getting through. So what do you think Jake Paul is going to do against Andre August, an opponent that we still are not 100% sure on what he has to offer? In the end, taking all this into account, it should be clear that this is just an easy fight for Jake Paul, only because yes, Andre August does beat Jake Paul on paper, like wins and knockouts, but when it comes to talking about the opponents they fought, how active they have been, and their boxing abilities, it should be clear that Jake Paul is easily going to win this fight. So this is why I do believe that Jake Paul is going to have the power to knock out Andre August anytime during the fight, whenever he wants to. It's just up to him on when he wants to do that.